Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a match between IdrA and Alem here on Heartbreak Ridge. Left side of the map it is the brown Zerg player. His name has way too many consonants and not enough vowels. It is Alem. Okay, technically it's alemskdlt, which that is hard to say. And on the right side of the map, it is the yellow Terran player IdrA. Alright, man, so IdrA versus Alem here. Going to be a good time for sure. IdrA is known for his rage if he loses games, and he's known to not say really a lot if he wins. He doesn't, like, gloat when he wins, but he is mad when he loses. Which, I don't know, that's probably better than somebody who not only BMs when they lose, but also gloats a lot and is just bad manner when they win. So, I don't know, he's a gracious winner at least. Should we give him credit for that? Or is that just, like, basic human stuff? Anyway, looks like Alem came in here going random, because IdrA asked him what race he was. Alem said Zerg, told the truth, which is a pretty cool thing for him to do. I mean, some players like to play random because they just want to be good at all the matchups, and some players play random because they want to have the advantage that comes from their opponent not knowing what they are. It is an advantage. Sometimes it's not a huge advantage, but it's an advantage. But it looks like Alem is one of those players who just plays random because he wants to be good at all the matchups. He wanted to be good at ZVT, so he played random, and he got his ZVT, and he said, there's no reason for me to be dishonorable. Well, in his view, maybe it's dishonorable, but I don't know. It's just playing the game. I've always personally felt like if a random player doesn't want to tell you what they are, they don't have to. They already have a disadvantage. I see something as a disadvantage because they can't be good at all the races. Like, okay, maybe they get the one they're best at against you, and they have the advantage because you don't know what they are. But anyway, that's just how I see things. Is somebody doesn't want to tell me that what they are when they're random, I'm cool with it. So Alem shows up with a drone. Another SCV's pulled off the line trying to defend against it, and that's a hatch first play. Looks like about a 12er from Alem. And with the 12, probably going to go for a pool here too. Whoa, that SCV is way injured. That drone is hardly hurt at all. Alem, the control right now, forces IdrA to actually repair this SCV, which means the drone can't kill it. It can't damage through the repairing here, especially with another SCV punching him in the face. Or drilling him in the face, or soldering him in the face, whatever it is. Welding, maybe? Dude, this drone is still fighting. I can't even... Like, that SCV got pulled off construction. This barracks is super delayed at the moment, comparatively, for a professional level game, right? And that's impressive, too, because drones do not win fights in straight-up matches against SCVs. So I don't know what that was. Anyway, expansion here from IdrA, recognizing with the SCV scout, the pool's not even done yet, so... No need to throw up a bunker or get a couple Marines or anything. Just definitely go for the expansion. Worry about Marines later when you have the resources for it. Maybe make another supply depot and some SCVs before you start Marine production. Whatever you want to do, man. Because that pool is not done. Is that 2 hatcheries? Oh, and a macro hatch now getting started here too, just around that choke. Which is a very standard thing to do if you want a lot of larva early in the game, which can actually indicate some ling pressure. Or maybe even just ling defense. Maybe he's just planning on making enough Zerglings to stay alive until he takes up with something like Mutalisk or something like Lurker or, you know, something along those lines. That SCV actually got some damage down on that spawning pool. About 130 points of damage over time. That's not bad. It's easier to snipe off if you show up there with some Marines later on, I guess. But yeah, IdrA is going for another barracks here, which indicates he's going to go for a decent number of bio here in the early game, which is, again, fairly standard. Sometimes you see people try to go straight mech against Zerg, but generally what they try to do is go for some bio, goes for an easier transition right into mech. And that's what we're seeing here today. Somebody in the comments of a recent video said, how come Terran don't always go late game Vulture tank missile turret Goliath? Why don't they just always mech against Zerg in the late game? I was like, I don't know, man. I mean... I've definitely seen Terran players beat high-level Zergs with bio. Especially, well, only if they have Science Vessel support. And, like, maybe some tanks. Not, like, crazy numbers of tanks. We've seen Flash win games doing that, so if he can do it, everyone can, right? Generally how that is. Overlord's scouting around trying to see if a second gas is being taken, and there's not. So we're not going to see really much by way of a lot of tanks early on. Academy coming up. Another supply depot. Yes, it is. Metabolic boost on the way from Alem. Also getting a lair. This SCV scout has just been worth its weight in gold here. I don't say gold only because it's yellow, though I do really enjoy the yellow color here no matter what race is using it. Looks really good on Terran too. But second gas is scouted. Does see the creep colony coming up the front. Says, okay, should be somewhat prepared for some kind of a bio attack. As stim is on the way, as medics are on the way, as engineering bays are coming up here too. So definitely committing quite a bit here to the bio in the early stages of the game. And the Zerg player, really no third base yet. It looks like he's going to try to go for a Spire before he takes that third. He's just saving as many resources as possible, trying to balance making drones and having enough minerals available to make, you know, 5-6 Mutalisks when the time comes. Based on the gas timings here and the Spire just finishing, he might actually have enough for closer to 8 or 9 Mutalisks. That's about 800 or 900 gas for those of you playing at home. But factory on the way. Alrighty then. I'm loving the early-ish factory here. Not crazy early, because again, there's a healthy number of Marines here. Zerglings out. They just basically want to say, if a small number of Marine comes in, we want to be able to kill them. But I don't know. I don't think IdrA is inexperienced enough to do that. He seems pretty well on top of things. Yep, Spire on the way. LM is going to go for the third hatchery here. He should have the requisite number of minerals to go with the gas that he has. Is he seriously not? Dude, you have the resources for this. He doesn't want to. He wants to go for like 8 or 9 Mutalisks here before he goes for that third. There's a little bit of over kicking right now. Okay, so now, then the Spire is going to finish, and it's going to be 8 Mutalisks. Possibly 9. Look at how that timing really worked out for him. He just made 9 Mutalisks. That was beautiful. The way he timed that, he got 9 Mutalisks and a third base at the same time. That was some fantastic lining up right there. He's had to have practiced that a million times. So I don't know who this dude is. That's a problem with a lot of these replays I've got from players like IdrA, Straylock, Whiteraw, is that a lot of them are ladder replays. High level for sure. Like this LM player is good, but the Smurf name list for foreigners is not nearly as robust as it is for Koreans. So I mean, searched for alemskdlt there, and the internet's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Did you sneeze into the microphone? Did you do a voice search and just sneeze there? Because that's all I got. But do we have turrets? Of course we have turrets. You start the turrets about when the Mutalisks start being produced. Maybe a little bit later than that, but that's the neighborhood. And yeah, you want a lot of turrets here because, by golly, this is 9 Mutalisks. 9 of them. Marine with missile turret support is enough to hang here. So I'm liking that. Did he just get a shot off on the engineering bay for no reason? Sure did. Backing on up into this mineral line where there are no missile turrets to shoot him, but the Marines are coming in with extreme vengeance. A bunch of SCVs do go down. IdrA still at 37 and 28 overall workers, which is nice. It is incredibly nice. And the third base comes up for LM back home. So yeah, IdrA up economically here, though he is on 2 bases to a 3-basing Zerg that is just now getting saturated. The Mutalisks and Lings are a bit of a problem here. It's really hard to move out across the map without getting constantly sniped by the Mutalisks. They're just inherently, there's going to be stragglers in the pathing as the Terran player here. There will be Marines hanging back. There will be medics hanging back. And they're the ones that are going to die. Oh, is he just dancing right on in? Look at him just coming right on in here. These turrets are having a great time with these Mutalisks, though. And actually enough to bring IdrA back home. Oh, delayed construction on the science facility. Enjoying that immensely. The Lings all die. A couple turrets go down. Science vessel, again, delayed, but not killed. And not destroyed. But again, it delayed that push, too, from IdrA. The Mutalisk's doing a good job of that. So Mutas, we're down to 8, which, okay, he only lost the 1 Mutalisk. Wait, count Falcon. That's 8. All right, wow. Huh. I'm just surprised he only ended up losing a single Mutalisk there. He's got more coming on in to join the crew. I don't know if he wants to go back in there, though. I guess killing those 2 turrets makes it a little bit easier to sneak in, as he's doing. And the 1 turret, I don't know, man. I think you can kill the 1 turret. Why is he... He comes in, takes several hits, and then goes back in, and then kills it. Like, I don't know what the difference was there. I guess he wasn't stacked up to the point that he wanted to be. Yeah, those Mutas stayed in a little bit longer than they needed to, and as a result, one of them did die. It's a little bit of sloppy control there, but again, Brood War is a game about who makes the fewest mistakes. They can generally win the game. Still, no reason to make these into Sunkens until the Marines are actually, you know, out of their own base. Loving that out of IdrA. Or LM, rather. Don't like that IdrA's been kind of kept in his own base for quite some time here. But it allows LM to catch up in worker count, fully saturating this third base. He's got 3 gases running, which is fantastic. He's working on a Queen's Nest, and then that Dark Swarm is a game changer. And that Plague is also a game changer. 5 Lurkers in production. Lurkers pretty game changing as well, especially on a high ramp like this. But Science Vessel comes in and says, you cannot hide from us. But still, you don't want to go up a ramp. Even if it's a huge wide ramp like this with Bio against 3 Lurkers. Generally, we'll see that situation on a map like Fighting Spirit where there's a really tight ramp leading up to that third base where the Zerg is trying to establish. And that is hard to break. But hey, you know what's also good at killing Lurkers? Tanks are so good at killing Lurkers. They're not even bothering to siege up. They're just like, we're good. I'm going to shoot you with single target mode here, no splash. Zergling says, leave my Lurker friends alone, but no, the tanks are a little bit too strong for that action. Irradiate on the Mutalisk. Oh, trying to split off the irradiated Muta. Can't quite find it. There it is. He found it. The Lurkers get out of there. The Lurkers didn't get irradiated, though. I'm kind of surprised by that. Oh, the Muta's getting a tank. Getting a tank. I think lost a couple Mutalisks for that. Lurker goes down. Mutalisk count is down to 5. That is not healthy because, again, he was on 8. He made maybe 3 or more. He was at 11, so he's lost half of his Mutas at this stage. And the Marines very bravely sacrificing their own lives to kill these Lurkers. Not something you want to do. And suddenly there are a ton of Lurkers over here. Whoa! Alem. Man, killing those tanks are so good. He got a tank. He is sacrificing Mutalisks intentionally to kill those tanks. He knows the big problem here is that tanks exist versus these Lurkers. I mean, what you want to do is jump on this army and what that basically. You want to be doing that if you can. That tank does not die. Already has 4 kills. Scourge in production. Adrenal glands coming in. Any sign of a Defiler Mound, you Zerg player. And in fact, as I say it, it gets pulled up right there in the main base. Alright, so Defiler Mound here. IdrA, still no sign of a third base. He can go on 2 bases for quite some time if he wants to. Oh, the Scourge. Nice pullback. Beautiful pullback. And target firing on those Scourge. Lings jumping on in. Spine's doing some serious work here, too. A lot of Lings going down. Irradiating a Lurker because why not at this stage? And yeah, did you know that the AI does not prioritize Scourge? Right? If there's something else around, the Marines, the battle cruisers, whatever it is, they will attack other stuff before they will attack the Scourge, which I think is really poor targeting priorities there. Prioritization there. But in the campaign, that's definitely the case. So if you want to target fire Scourge, what I'm saying here is I'm pretty sure that IdrA has to target fire them manually, or the Marines will not shoot them, with the exception of if there's nothing else around, right? Like that. In that situation, they weren't close enough to hit the Lings anyway, so the Scourge go down. And really, if you can win the Scourge versus Science Vessel battle, you're going to have a pretty good time. Whichever player you are, if you win that one. Is that a drop? That's an SCV. Ah, here comes a ton of Zerg, though. Scourge again, not getting hits off. Not getting hits off. Lings getting huge, jumping on top of this Marine stuff. The Lurker's doing some serious damage as well. Oh, this is not looking good for IdrA throughout this game at all. Is he going to lose all of his medics are going to die. All of his medics are dead, and suddenly it isn't. You know, IdrA's up 81 to 77. But a lot of that is SCVs, not so much of that is army supply, and he just lost all of his medics. He needs his medics. He needs those medics to really buffer and support this bio. The fact that he has 2 on the field right now is not great for him. That said, this army is not exactly intimidating for Alem. He lost a lot of units to make that happen. Also, Alem took a 4th base in the bottom right while we were not watching, or I wasn't. You guys are probably watching the minimap like a hawk because you guys do that for me. But Scourge, man, if at first you don't succeed, try again, says Alem. I really want to kill these Science Vessels. No, that was not how you do it, though. That wasn't even close. Like, it's one thing to chase a Science Vessel who's right here. Maybe you can get him, but the Science Vessel was already back behind the Marines, dude. Okay, he needs Defilers. He needs them now. He's getting Plague. He's got Defilers. There we go. Showing up to the battle. Fueling's going down. Once the Dark Swarm and the Plague starts getting in, then we are game-changing, ladies and gentlemen. That is where Alem can really start to win some engagements here. He wants... Okay, got one of the Science Vessels. That's nice. And another one, too. Dark Swarm is up. First one of the game. And IdrA is forced to retreat. That's really the strategy here, guys. If you're a Terran player and you struggle with Dark Swarm, just run away from it. Try to start engagements in the middle of the map. If Dark Swarm pops up, run away, pull back. And over time, you'll be able to win those things. What you want to avoid is the Zerg army showing up at your front door, throwing Dark Swarm here, here, and here, and then suddenly your base is dead. You don't want that to happen. You want the Dark Swarms to be out here useless to anybody unless you choose to engage in that position, which you don't have to. You don't have to engage in that position. Ultralisk Cavern on the way, by the way, from Alem. Who is this player? I'm going to do another Google real quick while this stuff is going on. Another Dark Swarm. Again, your priority here as IdrA and as any Terran player is irradiating Defilers if there are no Defilers to be seen. Save your energy or irradiate Lurkers. Those are your choices. Or Ultralisks. Those are your priority targets for irradiation. Oh, these Lings. That was just bad pathing. I don't know where they're trying to go. IdrA does finally take a third base, which he's not harvesting from, but it feels like it's a little bit late for trying to win this game. Alright, so while we're running around down this way, I hear that consume. I hear it happening. Yeah, Overlord's getting massacred here. This is just a, yeah, basically, alemskdlt shows up in a bunch of Korean pages? Anyway, we got Firebats now to handle the Zerglings. They do really well in that Dark Swarm. Nice Plague, though. Catching those Science Vessels. Another Defiler goes down. You're just going to lose Defilers. Zerg players, don't get discouraged. Just make more. Just make more of them. Once again, the Scourge, irradiating the Scourge out of desperation. No, they don't get hits. That one does. Most of them did not get hits there. Woo, it's a lot of dead medics, ladies and gents. Alright, so a bit of a breather here. I don't know, based on the fact this alemskdlt player, the name is showing up on Korean websites. They're not related to StarCraft, though, which is confusing. It's like, here's an app. It doesn't have very good ratings, but somebody named alemskdlt actually left a review here once upon a time. Anyway, radiates, Scourge are here. I'm really impressed with this alemskdlt player. Alem is looking good, ladies and gentlemen. He is really, like, IdrA has not been able to get this far across the map in 17 minutes. And now Ultralisks are here. And now your largely Marine army is going to have a fairly bad time. This is a running away situation. And it is. The Marines are like, yeah, let's not be there at all, actually. Kindness plating coming on in. The Ultralisks, I don't think I have anabolic synthesis because I don't... They are slow, is what I'm trying to say here. Dropships coming up here as Alem is trying to take a 5th base in the top left. It has almost no defense. There's a lurker here, which is somewhat handy, but there's the unload. And look at that split. Oh, they get the surround on the lurker and they take it down, and this base is in a lot of trouble all of a sudden. The army's not even really responding. I think Alem is kind of sacrificing this. Or just straight up sacrificing it. He's not sending anything over here to stop this from happening. I guess he knows he's on 4 bases to 3 bases, and maybe he was kind of greedy to try to take it anyway. Perhaps that's what's happening here. I don't actually know. Can't read his mind. He probably played this a long time ago anyway. If I asked him, he probably wouldn't remember. But it's 150 to 110 supply here. I mean, IdrA is up in army supply substantially right now. The problem is, if your army is largely Marines and your enemy has largely Ultralisks, it's going to be a bad time. Unless you irradiate the ever-loving crap out of every one of these Ultralisks. Oh, and the Plague actually catching one of the Ultras. Jeez, too. Okay. Yeah, if you irradiate the Ultras, somehow they're a lot squishier and a lot easier to kill, as it turns out. Are these guys still here? He's still here, and he's blocking off the entrance with an engineering bay. Dude, IdrA is making a comeback. I don't know how. I don't know why. I guess I do know how. So much of this... Wow, so much of this is killing Zerg. Or Scourge. Specifically Zerg. Yes, a lot of this is killing Zerg, but a lot of it is irradiating Ultralisks. Like this. Irradiating the Defilers. Maybe some of the Zerglings here too. Oh, that Ultralisk is responsible for killing a ton of those Zerglings. Scourge, once again, trying to get hits off. Not really working out for him. 5th base down south is now done here too, which I believe IdrA is aware of and he wants to kill. Going to be hard to get over there, though, with the Dark Swarm that exists. Attacking into Dark Swarm is suicide with all of these Marines. IdrA knows that. Ooh, he's taking a 4th base in the top left, which the Overlord can straight up see. I guess maybe you try to drop Ultras over there, huh? Maybe drop tech would be fantastic, but it's 168 to 124. I really feel like Alem has done a good job in this game, but he is down big time in supply. IdrA has always been known for his macro. That is, that is his strength beyond question, is his macro. That said, his micro has looked really good today. Oh, look at the Marines just standing in against these Ultralisks. They are not afraid. There are enough of us, they said, to take you down without question. That is a scary ball of Marines. No Plague, no Dark Swarm. Nothing but 3-3 Marines, ladies and gentlemen. 5th base down south is gonna die. Lings and Ultras trying to tack onto the natural base and get some damage done, kill some reinforcements from IdrA at the same time, but the tanks are hitting pretty hard and that Ultra is gonna go down. That's not a trade. That is just a failed attack on that natural base. Same story up north. Ultras trying to get up into that 3rd. They should be able to. Why is there a drone fighting? I don't know, but the drone's doing some work. 5th base done. We are now officially at a 4 base to a 3 base, but guess who's coming on in to try to take down your 4th base? But IdrA is losing the 3rd base too. SCVs running for their lives. Ultras don't actually kill SCVs all that quickly. Nice Plague on a lot of that bio, though. Oh gosh, the Ultra is getting some serious hits down, but not enough hits down. Ultra staying in the Dark Swarm, protecting that 4th base. It's really important that that be the case. Are you long distance mining up here? Where did the Ultras go? Oh, they're trying to get through this engineering bay. And he will actually get through the engineering bay. And one-shot these Marines. Wow. Okay, 15 kill Ultralisk. He is just king of the Ultralisks right now. Although I think maybe staying back here would have been a better job by him. However, this 4th base of IdrA is toast. He's not mining from it, ladies and gents. It's 139 to 105 supply. The Zerg player is not super healthy overall, but he does have a better economy than IdrA does. He's got 47 workers, but he's not long-distance mining. He's not oversaturated. He doesn't have a ton of workers just sitting around doing nothing. His workers are working appropriately. Just kidding. He has a bunch of drones in the main base sitting around doing nothing. No, he just recognized them, and he's sending them somewhere else. I don't know where they can go, I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe taking a base here would be nice. Alem has 1,000 minerals. Like, he might as well expand twice here. Hey, did our hero Ultra make it back down here? He did. 18 kills on this Ultralisk. 19 kills on this Ultralisk. The tank fire does friendly fire splash, though. Oh, a couple more SCVs died that didn't have to because the tank was overzealous in his pursuit of shooting that Ultralisk to death. That hurts quite a bit, actually. Top left-hand base. Looks like Alem wants it, which he should be able to, at the very least, force a liftoff on that command center. 154 to 123. Alem is not down as much as he was previously. Go, run! Irradiate the Scourge! 1 science vessel down. 3 of them are down to 1 HP, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are not. Okay, Dark Swarm up. Ultralisk, stay in the circle. Stay. Oh, what a plague, though. And the Mutalisk comes in. No, not enough. The Marines are able to take him down. Irradiate on the Defiler. He's out. He can't survive a single Irradiate. Dude, Alem needs to expand up there now. I know there's a lot of stuff you're worrying about at the moment, but expanding there, yes, excellent. Just managed to throw it down. So IdrA's on 3 bases. His economy is not healthy at all. His main is mined out. His natural is mined out. He has this base that is ridiculously oversaturated for a 3rd. He doesn't have a 4th. And the Zerg player is happily on 4 bases and soon to be on 5. IdrA needs to make a move now, and I just feel like he has the advantage in army supply, but he doesn't have the tank count needed to deal with these Ultralisks. The Ultras aren't exactly killing it, okay? Let's be honest with ourselves here. Oh, remember how I said the control of the science vessels was really good? It has been really good, but suddenly it's bad as 4 or 5 science vessels go down at the same time. Beautiful plague on all of that marine stuff. This Ultra has to murder these Lings to get through on the pathing. The Ultras are irradiated. They're doing bonus damage. Well, I guess that counts as bonus damage. Plus, all the Marines have been plagued. And that advantage that IdrA had is not doing so hot anymore. But look at the tanks finishing off those Ultras. That's what I'm here for, is those tanks doing stuff. IdrA does manage to sneak a command center up to the 12 o'clock position, but he's not actually mining from it, and he's really scarily... Okay, those drones see this, yeah? They do. Okay, so they're aware that it's there. Some lings are coming up to shut it down. I think Alem has this. Feeling like Alem has this game. Woo! Tank fire, man. Maybe producing tanks would not be a bad idea, but IdrA does not seem interested in doing that. I actually did just cast a game between Hyun and... Who was the Zerg player? Hyun and somebody. I can't remember who it was. Dang it. They're both Koreans, though. And it really was. It was a lot of this from Hyun, and then he made about 12 tanks, and then suddenly this Ling Ultra stuff did not work anymore. So, dude, is IdrA gonna win this thing? Like, economically, there's no reason he should be winning this game at all, even the teeniest or tiniest of bits. He's made some really good trades, which is nice. I'm not going to mislead you about that. Definitely made some really good trades. And that's kind of how you win these games, is you make good trades. Where are these drones going? Hey, guy! Alem! Buddy! Were they bait? They were like, come over here so we may kill you. Where's the Dark Swarm? There it is. IdrA again, just pulling out. He's like, hey, man, if you want to go ahead and send in your Dark Swarm, you can, but you can't kill us from there. Because you're melee, that top left base goes down. But again, still mining from this one is Alem. Go. This is dumb. This is so dumb. I don't know who's going to win this thing right now. Sure, IdrA has a nice lead. Look at this. 144 to 94, and all of that's army supply because the worker count is virtually even. But Alem, well, actually, he doesn't have much of a bank either. He's pretty gas-starved. He's been making a lot of Scourge and Ultralisks and Defilers who have not necessarily been doing a super good job staying alive and killing Terran units. And maybe that's where we are with this. God, these are radiated ultras. You think a plague is better or a dark swarm? Well, there's your dark swarm, but again, middle of the map doesn't do anything for you. Offensively, yes. Defensively, yes. Middle of the map, Terran, especially if it's just bio, is going to get out of there. Maybe that's the thing where you don't make tanks. Is the darks? Well, you have to get the dark swarm up first. I'm just saying, I've seen Zerg players struggle a lot more just versus tanks in the late game here. Tanks, vultures, Goliaths, whatnot. Heading on up, though. Alem trying to get up this right side, but look, there's only a handful of tanks, but these lings are getting massacred before they hit anything. The Scourge are whiffing on their targets! Oh my gosh, that's your good game. alemskdlt has left the game. Disgustingly impressive control there from IdrA in that final battle. Did you see that? I think one of the tanks died. This guy down here probably died. The Scourge made 0 hits on anything because of the jukes on the science vessels. The Lings all died. The Ultras all died. The Defiler never even got his spell off, I don't think. Nope, no one's plagued up here. The Dark Swarm didn't do anything either. And dang, IdrA takes the win there. How was that a premature? Was that a premature leave? Alem, he didn't lose any bases. Well, not recently anyway. He's still mining from this one. He's still mining from this one. The top left one, he lost, which is problematic. But he's still mining from 2 bases. IdrA just barely started mining from the 12 o'clock. I don't know. I don't really like it when players tap out after they attack and then they lose. And then they quit. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. I kind of feel like, okay, his bank was terrible. IdrA's bank was better. Army supply was definitely huge here. There were a bunch of science vessels remaining on the tanks. It was going to be an uphill climb, but I don't know that it was really time for Alem to tap out. He was in a decent position, but at the end of the day, IdrA does end up getting the win. Just, again, just fantastic trades. Other than that one time he lost about 5 science vessels in the space of 10 seconds, his science vessel control was really good. Target firing a Scourge was fantastic. Just not engaging into Dark Swarm is really good. The Defilers, sure, they could play, they could Dark Swarm all they wanted, but they never really crushed IdrA's army, except for that one time early in the game where I feel like Alem took a lead, but then IdrA was able just to keep macroing, keep being aggressive, keep killing bases, keep trying to expand, and then every time there was an engagement, just coming out on top economically. Sure, He never had a rout either on Alem where he just crushed everything Alem had, except maybe here. But prior to that, it was just making good trades. Killing Ultralisks with Marines is a fantastic trade. Killing Defilers with Radiate, that's energy use. That's all you're using there to kill them Defilers. Good use there too. And then just Dark Swarm never really being an offensive spell today at all. Which I really think it has to be if you're going to win a game as a Zerg versus a Terran or a Protoss. Jaedong does it. Be like Jaedong. All right, cool. So let's check out the final score. And it is a pretty darn even 20,000, 200,000 for IdrA, 289,000 for Alem. So not too far apart there. End of the day, Zerg player produced about 750 units, lost 600 of them. 567 Zerg units killed by the Terran player. And then Alem actually more gas mined, more minerals mined, and more total spent. I mean, this is something you can see. I know most of the time if a player mines more gas and more minerals and spends a ton more than their opponent, they're going to win the game. But if it's Zerg can do this and still lose because of bad trades, right? A lot of Lings can die accomplishing nothing. Ultralisks can die accomplishing nothing. Defilers can die accomplishing nothing. And then all of that stuff that you spent accomplishes 0 things. And at the end of the day, you are a sad panda. So good stuff overall, though. Really fun game. Really enjoyed it. I love long macros EVTs. I hope you do too. But that's going to be it from me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. All at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. And you take care of yourself.